Okay, this presentation is going to be a review on noun jobs, and there will be an assignment for you at the very end of the presentation. First, we're going to review the 8 parts of speech. You know that every single word in the English language is one of these parts of speech. First, we have nouns, and you know that nouns name people, places, things, or ideas. And some examples are Jenny, the United States, or camera, or the idea of justice. Pronouns take the place of nouns like she, it, them, we, they, he, her. Verbs express actions or states of being like run, laugh, jump. States of being verbs are like is, are, and was. Adjectives modify nouns and pronouns. So adjectives are the words that describe people, places, things, or ideas. And some examples would be pretty, tall, bright, happy, large. And adverbs modify verbs mostly, but they can also modify adjectives and other adverbs. And examples of that would be happily or quickly, very, yesterday, always, never, not. Many, many examples of adverbs. Prepositions show a relationship between a noun and some other part of the sentence, like in, over, under, of, between. There's lots and lots of prepositions. Conjunctions connect 2 or more words, phrases, or clauses. You have coordinating conjunctions like but, so, and then subordinating conjunctions like even though, whenever, because. And then you have lastly interjections, which show emotions and are not grammatically related to the rest of the sentence, like wow or yikes or hey. Okay. In this presentation, we're going to focus only actually on nouns. People, places, things, or ideas, because you can have many nouns in one sentence and they all will be doing a different job. These are the 6 noun jobs we know: subject, direct object, indirect object, object of preposition, predicate noun, and noun of direct address. We're going to start with subject, who or what the sentence is about. Pretty basic. Daniel stayed home from school yesterday, or fish swim across the lake. When we diagram those, we always put the subject to the left of the up and down line. That up and down line is the one thing that you're going to see in every single diagram. This up and down line is consistent in every diagram. Other things can change, but this up and down line will always be there because you're always going to have a subject and a verb, and the subject is always going to be to the left. The line here, the cross part, could change because if you have a compound subject like Daniel and Tony stayed home from school, you'll still have the up and down line always, 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 but now the left-hand side where the subject goes has to be split because you have 2 subjects or a compound subject, right? Daniel and Tony stayed home from school. So all of these are examples of subjects, and this is where they get diagrammed. The next thing is direct object. The direct object receives action from a transitive active verb. Here's an example. Daniel sang a solo in the concert, or she hugged her dad before he got on the plane. Direct objects answer the question who, what, or whom after the verb. So for example, Daniel sang what? Daniel sang a solo, right? Or she hugged whom? She hugged her dad. Now you can also have a compound direct objects, and here is an example. The students finished both their tests and their homework in class. So that would look like this. Students finished. What did the students finish? Tests and homework, right? And then you have a correlative conjunction connecting those. Students finished both tests and homework. And those are direct objects receiving the action from transitive active verbs. Next you have indirect objects, and they receive the direct object. Here's an example. Daniel gave me a box of chocolates for Valentine's Day. Or here's another example. Sarah passed him a note. Indirect objects are diagrammed under the verb. So we've got Daniel gave what? Daniel gave a box. But who received that box? In this sentence, this word right here, Daniel gave me a box, right? So me goes underneath the verb, and it looks like it would be a prepositional phrase, but where the preposition would go, we leave blank because there is no preposition. So it's kind of like saying Daniel gave the box to me, but the word to is not present in the sentence. Here's another example. Sarah passed a note to him, or Sarah passed him a note, right? You can also have compound indirect objects. So if you had something like Santa gave Julie and Joey some Christmas presents, you would say Santa gave what? He gave presents, right? So who received those presents? The presents are the direct object getting the action, and Julie and Joey are the ones who received the direct object of presents. So that would diagram under gave, and you have to split the line and put Julie and Joey and put your conjunction. And this is where the subjects go. This is where the direct objects go. And now this is where the indirect objects go. Okay, so that's our first 3 out of 6 noun jobs: subjects, direct objects, and indirect objects, and that is where they get diagrammed. You'll notice in this presentation that all the nouns are on flat lines. They're in different parts of the diagram depending on what job they're doing, but they'll always be on a flat line. So the next noun job is object of preposition, and this is the noun in a prepositional phrase. Objects of prepositions are the nouns or pronouns that follow a preposition, and the object of the preposition completes the meaning of the prepositional phrase. Here's an example, and we've had this kind of sentence before. Daniel gave Alicia a box of chocolates for Valentine's Day. Now you might have been wondering back in the last example why the direct object was box when I said Daniel gave what? And I said box. Well, how come Daniel didn't give chocolates, right? Well, chocolates is the object of a preposition because the word of is a preposition. So of chocolates is a prepositional phrase. Remember, a noun can only do one job at a time. So chocolates is being the object of a preposition here. So box is actually the direct object. Okay, so this is how it would look. Daniel gave what? Gave a box. Who did he give the box to? He gave the box to Alicia, right? Daniel gave Alicia a box of what? Of chocolate. The chocolate of chocolate is describing what kind of box. What kind of box did he give Alicia? A box of chocolates. So that is a prepositional phrase acting like an adjective that is describing the noun box. And the word chocolate is a noun doing the job of object of preposition. Now we have for Valentine's Day, and that is when he gave, right? So that's an adverbial prepositional phrase describing when he gave Alicia the box of chocolates. So for Valentine's Day is the prepositional phrase, and Valentine's Day acts as one word because it's one holiday, and so we put that on the flat line, and that is the object of the preposition. Okay, so this sentence now has 5 nouns in it. We've got the subject, we've got the direct object box, we've got the indirect object Alicia, and now we have 2 objects of the preposition because there are 2 prepositional phrases in this sentence. Daniel gave Alicia a box of chocolates for Valentine's Day. Next noun job is predicate noun, and a predicate noun comes after a linking verb and renames the subject. It looks like something like this. Jordan is the vice president of the school. He will be the president next year. Both of those have a predicate noun because they both have linking verbs. Okay, so it would look, to diagram it looks something like this. Jordan is vice president. Okay, is a state of being verb. Jordan isn't doing anything here, he's being vice president. So you put the predicate noun in the same place a direct object goes. The only difference is you add a slanted line instead of a straight up and down line. And this is not a direct object because remember, direct objects receive action. This is not an action verb. This is a state of being verb. Vice president is what Jordan is being. So vice president is renaming Jordan. Jordan equals vice president. The next one, he will be the president next year, right? So same thing, will be is a verb phrase, but it is a linking verb because this is also a state of being. This is not action. He will be president, right? And then that's why you have that slanted line. Both of those are predicate nouns because president is a thing, vice president or a person, and those are nouns. Our last job is noun of direct address. Nouns of direct address name the person or people being spoken to. They're not grammatically related to the rest of the sentence. So here's an example. Class, we're going on a field trip next month. The word class is who I am addressing when I say that. So that gets diagrammed completely separately from the rest of the sentence because it is actually not grammatically related. So class goes up here as the noun of direct address. Here's another example. Earlier we had this sentence, Santa gave Julie and Joey some Christmas presents. I could just, we diagrammed that earlier, just like this, with all of the nouns and all of the adjectives. But if I'm talking to like my mom and I'm saying this, now I add mom as my person I'm addressing, or the noun of direct address, the person I'm speaking to, and if I diagram that, I just add it to the top. It's completely separate from the rest of the sentence because it's not grammatically related. Okay, and those are the nouns of direct address. So in this sentence over here, we have a noun of direct address, a subject, a direct object, compound indirect objects. All right, and then these are adjectives describing presence. That is the 6 noun jobs that you know. All of these are people, places, things, or ideas, and the different ways they can be used in a sentence. Here is your assignment. I'm going to give you some sentences below, and you're going to identify all the nouns. You're going to list the nouns, and then you're going to list each of their noun jobs. Here's an example. Daryl and Jody made their teacher a batch of cookies. First, I'm going to find all the nouns. Daryl and Jody are nouns. Teacher's a noun. Batch is a noun. Cookies is a noun, right? Daryl and Jody are people. Teacher's a person. Batch is a thing. Cookies are a thing. So I'm going to list those and then figure out what part of speech or what noun job they're doing. So Daryl and Jody, that's a compound subject. Then I go on and I go, okay, my next noun is teacher. So the teacher's receiving the cookies, right? So the teacher's the indirect object. What are Daryl and Jody making? They're making a batch, right? So that's the direct object. And then my next noun is cookies, and of is a preposition. So cookies is the object of a preposition. So this is what your homework assignment will look like. I'm going to give you a sentence, and you're going to write down the list of nouns in the sentence, and you're also going to then identify the noun job. So here are the sentences. Number 1, Sean went shopping yesterday with Jenny. Number 2, Eva is the writer and director of the play about civil rights. Number 3, Douglas gave his mom a bracelet and some beautiful flowers for Mother's Day. Number 4, Jenny, can I go with you to the store? And number 5, Denzel was the best actor in that movie. You can either write these on a piece of paper and turn them in during class, or you can submit through Schoology using the submit button, then hit create, type your answer, and then hit the final submit button.